Slice an onion and your eyes weep within seconds. But drop that same onion into a bowl of water and cut it there, and you feel nothing. The onion didn't change. The air did. Same knife, same onion, same you. One version leaves you blinking and streaming. The other leaves you dry-eyed and fine. The only thing you moved was where the cutting happened. And that tiny change switched the whole thing on. The thing making you cry is not sitting inside that onion, waiting. Your knife builds it from scratch, in the air, seconds before it hits your eyes. Start with what you assume. Most people think there's something spicy or sharp trapped in the onion, and cutting just lets it out. Like popping a balloon full of pepper. That's wrong. The tear gas doesn't exist yet. Not in a whole onion. You could hold an uncut onion to your eye all day and cry exactly 0 tears. The gas gets manufactured on the spot, and to see how, you have to look inside a single onion cell. Picture a room split in two by a wall. On one side, a harmless sulfur compound. The onion pulled that sulfur straight out of the soil. On the other side of the wall, a tool, an enzyme, a little chemical machine called alliinase. As long as that wall stands, the two never touch. Nothing happens. Your knife is the wall breaker. You slice, you rupture the cells, and the wall comes down. The machine meets the sulfur, and a reaction fires. But here's where it gets strange. For decades, scientists thought that was the whole story. Enzyme meets sulfur, tear gas appears. Simple? They were wrong, and they didn't know it. In 2002, a team of Japanese researchers led by Shinsuke Imai found a second machine nobody had noticed. A second enzyme. I'll just call it the tear maker. Take that second enzyme away, and the onion still reacts. It still makes flavor. It still smells like onion, but it makes no tears. None. The crying is basically an accident, a leftover step, one extra enzyme overlooked for decades, whose only real job is to take an ordinary onion reaction and twist the product into a tear weapon. And that weapon barely exists. The molecule is called syn-propanethiol, S-oxide. It's so unstable and so short-lived that it's hard to even study directly. It forms, it drifts up off the cutting board, it finds your face, and then it's gone. You are crying over a chemical that exists for seconds. Now, why your eyes? Because that gas floats up and lands on the wet surface of your eye. And there, it hits nerve endings, not smell nerves, pain nerves. It trips a specific sensor called TRPA1. That exact same sensor is the one that fires when you eat wasabi. It's the one mustard oil hits, and it's the one triggered by actual riot control tear gas. Same receptor. Your eye treats a chopped onion like a mild chemical weapon, so your brain does the only thing it knows. It floods the eye with tears to wash the attacker out. You're not sad, you're being decontaminated. Which raises the real question. Why would a vegetable have a weapon at all? Because from the onion's point of view, you are a predator. The onion doesn't want to be eaten, so it built a trap. It keeps the ingredients apart on purpose, in separate compartments, so that when a bug chews it or an animal bites it, the weapon assembles right there in the attacker's mouth. Burning. A warning. Don't eat me again. The onion isn't attacking you. It's defending itself against a very large predator holding a knife. That predator is you. Now, go back to the water. Suddenly, it makes sense. That tear molecule loves water. It dissolves into it instantly. Cut the onion underwater, and the gas gets swallowed up by the liquid before it can ever reach the air. And the water blocks the path anyway. No airborne route to your face. The reaction still fires. It just fires into a bucket of water instead of into your eyes. Chefs do this on purpose. Peel and slice under running water, and the tears stop. And this is where all the kitchen tricks finally line up. Because they all disarm the same bomb, just in different spots. Cold. People think the fridge or freezer numbs the onion. It doesn't. It doesn't. Cold just slows the machines down and keeps the gas from evaporating so fast. Less gas in the air, less crying. It's chemistry, not numbness. A sharp knife. People say it cuts cleaner. True, but here's the real reason. A sharp blade shears through, breaking fewer cells. A dull knife crushes and mashes, wrecking way more cells, releasing far more enzyme and far more sulfur. More broken walls, more weapon, more tears. So a sharp knife literally builds a smaller bomb. Now, the objection. If it's just one overlooked enzyme, couldn't you just get rid of it and make an onion that doesn't make anyone cry? Yes, that's exactly what happened. That 2002 discovery pointed the way. In New Zealand, researchers at Plant and Food Research went after suppressing that tear maker enzyme. And there's a brand you can buy right now called Sunions, tearless onions. Not genetically modified, just built through decades of careful crossbreeding to reduce the tear compounds. Real onions on real shelves that leave your eyes dry. And one more piece that ties it to the ground. The onion's whole arsenal is built from sulfur. It drank up out of the dirt. Grow onions in soil that's low in sulfur, and they simply have less to work with. Less bite. Less sting. That's why sweet onions like Vidalias are sweet. They're grown in low sulfur ground, so they never stockpile enough ammunition to hurt you. The onion is only as fierce as its soil lets it be. Quick myth to bury while we're here. Bread in your mouth, a lit candle nearby. Those are folklore. The things that actually work are the ones we just walked through. Temperature, a sharp blade, and keeping the gas away from your eyes. Water, distance, a fan, or goggles. So let's go back to that bowl of water. To that moment where the onion tears you apart in the open air and does nothing at all underwater. You were never crying over an onion. You got caught in the crossfire of a defense system that stays silent until something breaks it open. Your knife is the detonator. Change the air, and the whole weapon dissolves into nothing. The onion didn't change. It was always loaded. You just moved the battlefield, and on the day someone finally noticed the one small machine that pulls the trigger, they didn't just explain your tears. They learned how to take the onion's weapon away.